Welcome to Spotlight Sessions, where we shine a
What's
light
your
on
story?
incredible. What does accessibility mean to you?
What's your mission?
Why don't we just get started and tell us a little bit about it. Hello and welcome to another episode of accessiBe's Spotlight Sessions. I'm your host for today's episode. My name is Sapir Yarden and I head up accessiBe's nonprofit partnership program. On the Spotlight Sessions, we highlight disability advocates and change makers and the amazing work that they do. So without further ado, I'm really excited to host Melanie Isaacs today, founder and chief inclusion officer of PAL Experiences. Welcome, Melanie.
Thank you so much for having me.
Amazing. So why don't we just get started, and can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Like you said, my name is Melanie. I'm the founder and chief inclusion officer of PAL Experiences. Also the mom of 2 kiddos, love to travel, struggling cook, but love seeing new places and visiting zoos and aquariums.
Oh, that's really fun. And can you tell us a little bit about PAL Experiences?
Of course. PAL Experiences is a nonprofit. We are dedicated to creating access and inclusion to support guests with developmental disabilities, such as autism or anxiety. So just as a ramp helps a guest who moves differently, we create tools to help support guests who process places differently.
Amazing. And what led you to start PAL Experiences?
So my background is actually in marine biology and animal sciences. So I was working at an aquarium, heading home on the train when a father and a son approached me. So I had my uniform on with the logo on the t-shirt, and this dad started asking me about sharks. So as we were chatting, his son was getting more and more excited. So at first he was, rocking a bit, then he started flapping his hands, and eventually he was jumping up and down. So his excitement got me really excited, and I asked if he liked to visit the aquarium. He never said a word, but his dad quickly interjected and said, "Oh no, we don't go to the aquarium. He has autism. It would be too much." And that's when their stop came. They got off the train, and I spent the rest of the commute, just really heartbroken. Here was a family who clearly wanted to visit the aquarium, and they felt like they couldn't. And, I started wondering, what was it about his autism that made it hard to visit, and where else weren't they going, and what could the aquarium be doing about it? Both of my uncles had muscular dystrophy, so I was always really aware of physical accommodations, but this encounter really opened my eyes. The boy on the train didn't need a ramp, he needed something completely different. So my master's thesis changed from cephalopod behavior to creating tools to support guests with autism at the aquarium. And long story short, it went really well, and we have been on a mission to create access in our communities ever since.
Wow, that is such an amazing story, and it really touched me that you would, not only the experience itself of having that conversation and encounter, but also of then going so far as to change your outlook on what your thesis should be. And I'm really interested to know, what are some of these tools that maybe some of our audience members could benefit from?
Yeah, of course. So, getting off that train, I started doing research. And one of the things I found right away was that 70% of families with developmental disabilities are socially isolated. These are families not going out to the aquarium. This is what that family was experiencing. So digging a little deeper, found the main challenges were anxiety over not knowing what to expect, sensory sensitivities, and challenges with communication. So because I like the sciences, we look at behavioral sciences and we find evidence-based best practices that help address these challenges. And PAL's created a digital tool to help with each of those things. So we create a PAL video. This is a video social story. It foreshadows what to expect. So before you even go somewhere new, you can see the parking lot, see what the ticket process is like, know where the quieter places are. And that really helps decrease that anxiety over all those surprises. We also use a therapeutic technique known as video modeling. So all of our PAL movie stars have developmental disabilities, and this helps the viewer feel empowered by identifying with who they're watching. We have, each partner has a PAL Place page, and we have insider tips on there. So every family is completely unique in what they're looking for. So we just provide a lot of information. If crowds are a trigger, here are the off-peak times. If noises are a trigger, here's where it's noisiest. If popcorn smell is a lot, here's where you can expect that. So each family can prepare for, the best experience for them. And then the final tool is a PAL guide. So while the other tools are meant to prepare before you go, the PAL guide is your, on-the-go tool. We have a behavior chain. So it's a first this, then this kind of approach, and helps families transition. First we're going to get our tickets, then we can go see, the dolphins or whatever the case may be. And it also has assistive communication. So for guests who are nonverbal, they can communicate things they need, like a break, a staff member, a restroom, and also ways they feel. This is great, or I'm nervous. And that's a really great tool, and it's powerful for within the family unit, to be communicating, but also we've seen it be so powerful for staff members. So now if a guest is coming and they're nonverbal or have limited speech, if they're nervous, they can use this guide on their phone and quickly communicate and share what they need or how they feel.
Amazing. I love the variety of the tools, but also the depth to which you go in terms of creating these experiences and really trying to identify at what marks it might be influential and create that inclusivity or inclusion that is so desperately needed when going to any sort of event or activity, so that isolation isn't a factor anymore.
Totally. And we're really proud to be diagnoses agnostic and use universal design. So although everything is based on science and evidence-based best practices, anyone can use our tools. They're free 24/7, and they can help anyone who likes knowing what to expect. So we've had a lot of success helping schools and field trip groups, families with PTSD, senior citizens. I love that, by creating this tool, we can just really see the ripple effect of how it can help.
Right. And there's so much behind how innovations aren't only going to be helpful for one community, but innovation in general can be helpful for all. So that's a really good segue to my next question for you, which is, when you hear the word accessibility, what comes to mind for you?
It's the root of what PAL does, and it's that everyone gets to go. We feel really passionately that it doesn't matter how you move through a space or process a space. The places in our community are for everyone. So true inclusion and true accessibility is making sure that everyone gets to go everywhere. And PAL works with a lot of places that are fun to visit, like zoos and aquariums, whitewater rafting trips, museums, but also the places you need to go, like urgent care or airline travel. And so, understanding that all those types of places really need to be considering every guest that comes through their doors and making sure that everyone gets to go.
I love that. That is such good insight. And so I know that you said the applications can be beyond the community of people with disabilities, but specifically for that community, what is one myth that you would want to debunk or something that you think people should know?
I think people are always surprised when I tell them that 1 in 6 kiddos have a developmental disability, and it's all rooted in that social isolation. What I really want people to understand is that our community is made up of all sorts of people, and we just have not gotten to that place of true inclusion and access. So, I really encourage businesses and encourage my own neighbors and anyone I meet, to understand that there's more work to be done to make sure that we're all included in this community, and only then do we all benefit from that inclusion.
Definitely agree with you there. So as a business, we like to ask our guests, what do you think the business community should be doing more to enhance an inclusive world?
I think actually prioritizing, valuing, and understanding their guests with disabilities. I want more businesses to understand that, having like a special event is amazing, but true inclusion is about so much more than that. You need to be supportive and accommodating to all your guests any day they want to come. So I feel like there should be more appreciation, more time spent, more passion for making sure the guest experience is just as good for guests with disabilities as it is for anyone else. And these guests, we have money. We want to go out and spend it at your business. We want to be included, and with a little support, with some welcome, with that mentality that everyone should be there, you're going to have really loyal customers and big fans who are going to tell all their friends about it.
Absolutely. And that starts with not just having one-off events. It's about creating a culture around it, and maybe even getting feedback from the guests.
Absolutely. It's so important. And I wish, yes, that's a great point, because, accessibility is not a checkbox. You're not done once you do something. If you partner with us, great. It's a partnership, because inclusion and accessibility, it's constantly evolving. It's alive. So just understanding that you want to just keep working at this, and this needs to be part of what you're thinking about every day for your business.
Very well said. And so my final question for you today is, if we could all be doing one small step to make the world more inclusive on the individual level, what do you think that could be? Not a small question.
I think being advocates in your own community is so important. So if you notice that a place you're going is not inclusive, if you feel like the experience is missing something, speaking up and really advocating, for your own friends, for your own families, and for people you don't even know, because I think if we all just embrace that inclusion from the beginning, we're going to see real change.
Great. Melanie, thank you so much for being a guest on the Spotlight Sessions. I love this episode so much. I can't wait to share it with our audience.
Thank you so much for having me. It was really fun.
Amazing. And to all of our listeners, thank you for tuning in. We'd love for you to continue the conversation with us. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And you can also follow us on Instagram at accessiBe_community. See you there.